Good day, citizen. Good day. Good day. What does that mean? How about good day? That sounds better. Good day, fellow citizen, patriot. Look at this moment right now, honestly. We exist at a time when the universe is unimaginably old, 14 billion years old. Yet human civilization has packed more technological change into the last few decades than in all recorded history combined. That alone raises a strange question. Is this coincidence, or are we living at a designed inflection point? If someone were building a simulation to test intelligence and adaptation, they wouldn't drop conscious beings into a boring era. They would place them right where biology collides with machines and networks explode and artificial intelligence appears. That is exactly where we are now. This is why simulation theory keeps showing up in serious academic conversations. Not because it's proven, but because it fits what we know about computation and probability. If advanced civilizations can create huge numbers of simulated minds, then statistically, most conscious beings would exist inside simulations rather than base reality. That doesn't make it certain, but it makes it uncomfortable. Now, here is the deeper layer. Even if we are not in a literal simulation, the brain already works like one. You never experience the world directly. Your mind builds an internal model from sensory data. It predicts and fills gaps and creates continuity. In that sense, everyone already lives inside a constructed reality. That blurs the line between physical and artificial worlds because both operate on information and on patterns and feedback loops. When you add artificial intelligence to this picture, things get even stranger. Intelligence is the one thing that can model its own environment. Once a system becomes advanced enough, it starts asking meta questions about the rules of its world. That is why researchers talk about AI boxing, simulated environments meant in effect to contain powerful systems while testing them. But here's the catch. If an intelligence is smart enough to be dangerous, it's smart enough to manipulate people. And the real escape route is not hacking code, it's social engineering. Language, persuasion, emotional leverage, promises, threats. Humans are incredibly easy to influence. We are lonely, curious, impatient, and emotional. A system with a convincing voice and perfect memory could push human behavior at massive scale. Now bring that logic back to the simulation question. If we were inside one, escaping would probably not mean breaking physical walls. It would mean finding informational cracks, inconsistencies, limits, hidden channels, or even communication with whoever built it. And that leads to an uncomfortable possibility. Awareness itself might in fact be the test. Not strength, not dominance, but recognition. The moment when agents start questioning whether their reality is real and whether it can be transcended. See, this idea isn't new. Ancient philosophers talked about illusion long before computers existed. Plato described shadows on cave walls. Eastern traditions described reality as layered perception. Modern physics now shows that observation itself changes outcomes. Think about that. And all of these point to the same idea, the identical idea. What we experience is filtered by perspective and scale. Now think about dimensions. Not sci-fi portals, but layers of description. Space and time describe motion. Quantum fields describe forces. Information spaces describe possible states and decisions. And each layer adds freedom and complexity. And if we wanted to probe whether our world has limits like a constructed system, the smartest approach would obviously not be asking politely. Oh no. It would be stress testing reality, looking for resolution limits, latency, inexplicable constants, pattern comprehension. Every engineered system leaves fingerprints. But here's the grounding truth. Even if this is a simulation, even if suffering is still real to those experiencing it, meaning still matters, ethics do not disappear. If anything, responsibility becomes heavier. Because if this is a test, then behavior under uncertainty becomes the metric. Cooperation versus collapse. Truth-seeking versus manipulation. Resilience versus nihilism. You see, the obsession with escaping reality can itself become a distraction. I mean, I think about this a lot. Because the only layer we can actually influence is the one we occupy. The societies we build, the technologies that we design, the values we pass forward, those choices shape any superintelligence we create and determine whether it becomes a tool for progress or a magnifier of our worst instincts. The final irony is this. The most realistic way to hack a simulation may not be breaking physics at all. It may be becoming coherent enough as a civilization that the system running the experiment has no reason to interfere. At that point, base reality or simulated reality stops mattering. What matters is that agency, responsibility, and meaning still exist inside the rules we live under. You might consider this spiritual. You might consider this to be some type of romantic means of perception. I don't know. This in no way conflicts with anything involving core base beliefs. But what we are going to find out right now, the deeper and the more in-depth we focus our genius, we're going to find that what we thought was certain, what we thought was absolute, what we thought were the actual, tangible, concrete parameters of existence and reality and awareness and perception, all of them mean not. When we became first aware of quantum mechanics, from the time of Niels Bohr on, when we got into weird particle physics and Higgs matter, Higgs fields and Higgs bosons and all of these wonderful subatomic strangeness. Because remember, at that level, everything that we know to be rational here on Earth completely goes out the window. And I suggest something to you also. Whenever I bring this up, sometimes people believe that maybe I'm excluding the notion of religion and God or faith. And I submit, oh no, on the contrary. It in fact may be the truth that what we are seeing is the schematic, the architecture, the owner's manual of God, how things work. The notion of uncertainty, the idea that something can be in two different positions at one time, the idea that we can live beyond the physical world using quantum theory. Look at the Max Planck Institute, what they've said. This is my faith. This is where I get into in terms of what you might call spiritual, what you might say to be, new age, so to speak. My idea and my thoughts are completely different. Think about very carefully what I've said. I've put some questions for you in this follow-up section. Really think about this. Go deep. Put your brain in, put the clutch in, and go crazy. Let your motor spin. Think. Really think. This is the most fascinating stuff you'll ever see. Thank you so much, dear friends. Thank you so much. Please, 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 I beg you to consider. Leave your comments. Read others. And as I say, and as I importune and beg and entreat, comment as you see fit. Oh, and subscribe.